Here with a few of my colleagues from the E&J Gallo Winery. Thank you so much for having us. And we are here today to talk to you about health and wellness and having that work-life balance and why it's been important to us and how it plays such a big role in whatever your future career might be and how it plays a role with us at the E&J Gallo Winery. So I'm here with Amanda Bussey, who, oh, the squares are, there she is. Hi, Amanda.
Hi.
I know, right? So I'm here with Amanda Bussey and also with Britton Troxler. Say hi, Britton.
Hey.
Hi. So we'll start with Amanda. Amanda, if you could just tell us a little bit about your background with Gallo, what you do now, and maybe a little bit about how health has played a role in your success with us at Gallo.
Sure. Yeah. So I have been with the E&J Gallo Winery now for almost 15 years. Started straight out of college, coming from Florida State University. Started out with in a retail sales position in Orlando and moved throughout our program in a bunch of different positions in multiple states. And now I live here in Raleigh. So I'm super excited. Now I'm a Wolfpack fan. So yay, go Wolfpack. But why health is so important to me, starting out in the retail side, it is a very physical position. And a lot of times you're throwing cases and building big wine displays. So it definitely pays and helps out to be very physically fit. So that was very important as a young sales rep. But as I got older and into more sedentary positions where I'm behind a desk and behind a computer a little more often, obviously I did unfortunately put on some pounds and blood pressure issues and what have you. So that just having health issues, that became more prominent in my life. So that made it more important for me personally, to put my health in the forefront and really start paying more attention to what I was eating and how much I was moving and exercising and stuff. And luckily we have Kathleen here locally that's our big health guru and is a great influence on all of us. So hopefully everyone will enjoy the conversation today.
Yes. Thank you, Amanda. And then we have Britton Troxler. So Britton, tell us a little bit about what you do for us at Gallo and a little bit about how taking care of your health has become important and as a part of your success to your career with us at Gallo.
Absolutely. So good morning, everyone. I'm really excited to be with y'all. I am also a Wolfpack fan. I have 7 Wolfpack degrees in my husband's family. And so I went to Clemson University, but we live in Raleigh today. And I have been with the E&J Gallo Winery for 9 years. I started straight out, just like Amanda, in our sales leadership development program right after I graduated from Clemson in 2011. And I started as a sales rep on the on-premise side, so calling on restaurants, hotels, and country clubs. And then throughout our sales leadership development program, if you succeed, you get promoted. And so I went to managing a team of sales reps, to then coming officially over to the Gallo side, calling on some of our distributors in Florida. And then last year I moved back to Raleigh to step into the position that I'm in now, which is a luxury specialist for our Elevage collection, which is our luxury portfolio. So I'm back to calling on restaurants and hotels and country clubs, selling some of our luxury items. But as far as my health journey, I would say that growing up through high school, I was very active. I played several sports, loved being active. So health wasn't even really a thought, except that my senior year of high school and my freshman year of college, I definitely struggled with dabbling with an eating disorder, with a little bit of bulimia. I never was treated for it, but I ended up ending it on my own. But that was definitely my first real world struggle with health. But moving into college, didn't really think about health, just was eating pizza and, on campus. And then after college in my early 20s as a sales rep, definitely was unmotivated with staying healthy. I was just trying to get through every day, working hard, not eating breakfast and not having time for lunch until I had a break at like 3 p.m. and running through the drive-thru at McDonald's. Definitely not the idea of health, but I did my first clean eating practice for a month in my early 20s, and that really opened my eyes to the food that I was putting in my body and what was important about that. through my mid-20s to my late 20s was when I really got motivated to be healthy and be the best that I could be. Part of that was when I was 23, I became a Christian, and my whole life just flipped upside down. And so in a good way. And so the whole purpose of my life really became about loving God and loving other people. And I figured that if I wanted to be able to do that for as long as possible, I wanted to keep my body healthy, in addition to my emotional and spiritual health. And so I really decided that it was time to take control. At that time, I was also diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis and wanted to make sure that I was keeping my body healthy for the long run in that as well. So I started working out with a personal trainer before I was really self-motivated to work out on my own. That transitioned into fitness classes, and one of my favorite things to do now is to go to different fitness classes at the YMCA. So whether it's spin class or kickboxing or Zumba or weightlifting, I love group fitness classes. And so that's kind of how I got to where I am today, and definitely focused on what I put in my body, how I use my body, and trying to be the best self that I can be for my own career and for my hopeful future children and grandchildren, so that I can be around as long as possible.
Yay, I love it. Thanks, Britton. And then I am Kathleen Apodaca, so I am a business development manager in the on-premise division for Gallo, and I've been with the company for 11 years now. And my health journey kind of started in college, so went from being a high school athlete to being in college, still exercise, but just started to gain weight, really lost my health, lost my energy, lost my confidence, and to the point where I wasn't as active as I used to be as far as leadership, participation, and just doing things like that. So at one point, I even had a medical withdrawal one semester, and I just realized, what path do I want to be on? Do I want to be how I was in high school, where I was extremely active, confident, had a lot of energy, wanting to do things, or do I want to continue on this path of just wanting to sleep all the time, not having my energy, my confidence back? So decided to educate myself on, how to eat properly and really get back into exercise, since I didn't have that daily workout from my sport in high school with me anymore. And from there, when I started to work with Gallo, getting into any industry, it's a big shift when you go from, studying in school to your career, and there's a lot of obstacles that come into play. And one of the big shifts that happened for me was I struggled with my health again, and my weight and my energy levels. And it was trying to find that balance of, I'm in a new role with my company, wanting to work really long hours and, be the first one in, last one out every day, say yes to every single thing. But then I noticed my energy starting to fade a little bit. And so anytime you go through a big transition like that, it's kind of hard to find the balance of between taking care of yourself so that you can show up as the best version of yourself. So through that, I got back into health and fitness again. And around the same time I started with Gallo is when I started teaching group fitness classes. So I've been a group fitness instructor for 11 years as well. And that's kind of my passion in life and what I do on the side. I love the industry that I'm in, and I get to be in two really fun and exciting industries, wine and fitness. So teach group fitness, fitness nutrition specialist, and I just love helping people find that healthy balance. So what I'd like everybody to do, because I can see your faces with your pictures, but I can't really see you. So since we're about to talk about, thanks Grace, since we're about to talk about, oh, thank you Beth, since we're going to talk about how to be healthy in that work-life balance, the best thing we can do, because I'm sure we've all been cooped up and we've all been enjoying this conference and probably sitting down for it, is we're going to do a little bit of movement. So whatever you're wearing is fine. I did put on appropriate bottoms to make sure, because I knew we would be doing this. But it's okay if you have shorts or something on. I don't have high heels on, so just forgive me. But we're going to stand up and we're going to do just a little bit of movement to get the blood flowing and see the difference that we feel in our energy. Can y'all hear the music a little bit? All right.
I have gym shorts on.
Sorry, it won't be too long. Just step to the side, just step touch. You're like, this is the craziest conference I've ever been to. If we were in person, we'd be doing it. Just step and touch. Just do a little hamstring curl. I know you can't see it. Just
Britton, stop recording this.
curl to your glutes.
It is the recording that's going to go out to everyone, so it doesn't matter.
Just squat and up. Squat up. Yes, I see some really low squats. I like it. Down, up. Down and hold. Just hold it low. 2, 3. Take it up. Just hold. 2, 3. This is not usually what I wear when I work out, but it's okay. We got it. Last one. Woo! You guys crushed it. Now we can sit back down. Thank you all for doing that. See, now everybody's smiling. Hopefully you have a little bit of energy. Whew, we're ready. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take you through just a little quick background of who we are working for Gallo, a little bit about our company and some of the obstacles that we face specifically in our industry. And then we'll go into just different ways to implement that work-life balance no matter what industry you're in. So let me share this with you. Okay. So we went through and introduced ourselves. So again, it'll be myself, Amanda, and Britton with you all today. And we're happy to answer any questions that you have as we go along. So please enter those in. But Amanda's going to take us through just a little bit about Gallo and who we are as a company.
Awesome. So the Ancient Gallo Winery, if you're not very familiar with us, we actually get that a lot. Our name is not on really any bottles anymore with the exception of just a few, but we are a family owned and operated company that's been around since 1933. And we're very proud of the fact that we are still privately owned and we're still family owned and operated, and that we've been around for that long. So that is so exciting. And we are the largest winery in the world. I'm not sure if I already said that or not. I'm still out of breath. Gosh, Kathleen. Goodness. I've already worked out once this morning and now my heart rate's back up. So looking at this slide, obviously you can see where we kind of rank against our competition. And kind of the exciting thing about this is that the closest competitor to us, Constellation Brands, we're actually kind of in the process of purchasing 35 brands, I believe, from them that would be added to our portfolio. They're looking to reinvest kind of their business in a different direction. So we're about to grow significantly and even become even larger. So we're super pumped about that. Another thing I just want to add, well, I guess it kind of is relevant on this slide as well. 1 in 4 bottles sold in the United States is a Gallo wine. So even if you don't realize it, if you are a wine drinker, whenever you're in a Harris Teeter or a Fresh Market or Food Line or wherever you might be, most likely you are purchasing or drinking, enjoying our wines, and you don't even really realize it. One of the wines, for example, by volume, the largest winery, our largest wine in the world really is Barefoot. And if you which is ours, and if you take Barefoot kind of out of the equation, away from the rest of our wines, it by itself would stand by itself as the 4th largest winery in the world. We would still be number 1. They would be number 4 by themselves. That's just to show you the power of Barefoot and the power of our brand, and just kind of what the Gallo Winery represents and why we're so proud. And now Britton's gonna kind of walk you through our global reach and all that fun stuff.
Thanks, Amanda. So as y'all can see, we are California based. Our headquarters is located in Modesto, California. So that's where our corporate offices are, but we have people all around the world, and we're selling wine all around the world. We actually export our wine and spirits to over 110 countries. We have offices in Hong Kong, London, Toronto, and Miami that are focused on selling and marketing our products to all continents. And so Amanda, Kathleen, and I, we are 3 Gallo employees that live in Raleigh. So that's just one example of how we have people all over the world. This is a almost full list of all of our brands. I would love to see in the chat or see y'all raise your hands if you have tasted any of these fabulous wines, or if you have a favorite brand. Like Amanda said, Barefoot is definitely our largest brand. Some other big brands that you might recognize could be La Marca Prosecco, Apothic Red, William Hill, Dark Horse, Louis Martini. I see, nice.
La Marca is my jam too. I just saw that.
Love it. If you are a fan of Dark Horse, keep an eye out for the Dark Horse cans so that you can take one to go. So yeah, we have wine and spirits. So if you're a spirit drinker, New Amsterdam vodka and flavors, Camarena tequila, Rum Haven coconut rum. We've got some really fantastic high-end single malt scotches like the Dalmore. And so we really have bottles that range from $5 a bottle in our wine to $100 a bottle, and spirits that range up to $5,000 a bottle with some of our high-end scotches. And so we have a great representation throughout the whole wine and spirits industry as far as our brands go. We have over 100, and like Amanda said, we'll be acquiring some more soon. So be on the lookout for those.
Yes, for sure. So we just wanted to give you a little bit of a background of the landscape of our company. And the reason we did that is so you can see we are, even though we're still family owned, we're the largest, we're the leader in the industry. So you can imagine the demands of being number one and remaining number one are definitely there for the three of us. So just wanted to now get into the little health and wellness and business piece. So everybody, I'm assuming, attending this conference is studying at NC State and perhaps studying business, so or at least it's in some capacity. So wanted to show you just a few fun facts. So why is it important to take care of your health in any industry that you go into? And it's super important. So just looking at a few fun facts. So 76% of millionaires exercise for at least 30 minutes, 4 days per week. Fortune 500 companies, including Google and Apple, have on-site exercise facilities, and more than 80% of employers are using financial incentives to increase physical activity. I know at Gallo we have one that we're going to talk about as well. So that just kind of shows you there must be a reason behind why all of these companies that are so successful are making it a priority for their employees to take care of their health. And here's a few reasons why. So just wanted to go through some of the benefits of exercise and nutrition specifically, but it is science, facts, that exercise is going to do all of these things. So why would an employer, and why would you as an employee or leader of your organization not want to have, increased energy, reduced stress, increased brain power, better sleep, all of these things? Same thing with nutrition. So we're looking at improved mood and mental health, again, with the energy and the reduced stress. So important when you have that buildup of stress, that's what leads to disease and things like that. So nutrition also playing a very large role in overall health and productivity in the workplace. There are definitely some obstacles to it, and especially when you're just starting out and getting into your industry, that's a big life change and a big transition, and it can take a while to actually figure out, what is your daily routine going to be like? What is your daily plan? How are you going to implement, all these new things into your life? So in all industries, especially when you're starting out, it can be long hours, so hard to get in your exercise, hard to plan out a way to eat healthy. Definitely stress. So with us being the largest winery in the world, and we're always fighting to maintain that spot, we have to be, at the forefront of what the trends are, what's new, and staying on top of those things. Sitting down for long periods of time. So typically with our job at the winery, there are a lot of roles. I know myself and the three of us were out in the market a lot, and so we don't necessarily sit down usually for a long period of time, but now a few things have changed and we're sitting down a little more. So we're working around that. Dinners out and entertainment. So if you end up in any type of business role, a lot of time you will have key customers that you're trying to wine and dine, entertain them. A lot of travel sometimes can be involved, which also makes it hard to find time to get your workouts in. It makes it hard to find healthy meals to eat. And then that adjustment phase that we kind of touched on. And in our industry, I feel like we have these obstacles times 10. So we work in a very, very unique industry. So wine and spirits industry, we are constantly surrounded by alcohol. And not only that, we are encouraged to drink it. We're encouraged to support our brands. We're encouraged to entertain our key customers by taking them out to dinners and having wine and spirits with them. We are also encouraged when we are at our customers, so at our accounts, whether that's a restaurant or a retail store, to purchase our brands and to, if it's in a dining establishment, enjoy our brands while we're there. So we are very unique in that we are constantly surrounded by wine and spirits and encouraged to drink it on the job. And sometimes it's early in the day if we're doing a training, if we're hosting customers out at our wineries out in California. Sometimes we're encouraged to at least taste wine, if not consume it, you know, all hours of the day. It's very, very unique. I know you're like, wow, that sounds great, but imagine if you have to do that all the time. You know, you have to find that balance with your health. So we also have long hours. Definitely stress right now. You know, I'm sure our stress levels are very high, especially you know, in both channels. So if we look at our retail channel where people are purchasing wine at the stores, they're busy. They are very busy. They are having record days, and it's our job to try and keep those shelves stocked and keep our retailers supplied with our products. You look at the channel that our on-premise channel, so restaurants, hotels, places where people are consuming the beverages on the premises. We're scrambling right now to find ways for them to be able to offer our product to go. So there is a lot of stress right now, a little bit of stress. We're constantly surrounded by alcohol. We touched on that. The travel, there is an element of travel with all of our roles, whether it's, you know, driving around the state of North Carolina or even leaving the state, sometimes even the country for meetings and winery tours. So we do it all. Late night events and inconsistent hours. So our hours are not 9 to 5. And if you end up in an industry where your hours are not, you know, the same every single day, that is definitely a challenge, because it's hard to plan around how you're going to be successful, where you're going to find your healthy food from, and all of that stuff. So how do we overcome these obstacles? I think, and a few of the other women touched on it when they were doing the chats prior to this this panel, was they were talking about how self-care is important and it's okay to say no. So the first thing is to prioritize your health. And the reason you want to do that, so you can show up as the best version of yourself for your career and for your industry. When you have energy, that comes through in your presentations, it comes through in your work and your interactions with your team. So keeping your health in line and showing up as your best self will definitely be a good thing in your career. Planning that time into your calendar, saying no when necessary. I know with Britton, we work together, and she does so many late night events and tastings and dinners. It's weekends, it's evenings, and we've had to tell her, Britton, it's okay to say no, because she has to rest and recover and have time to take care of herself. So saying no is okay, and it's setting those boundaries really helps you improve your overall health and make it a priority. Make it non-negotiable. This is important. You know, you can do it all and you can keep doing it all, but only for so long, and eventually it will take a toll on your body. It'll take a toll on your physical, your mental health. So make it non-negotiable. And then again, make time for your mental well-being. So whether that's time to just relax and not have anything going on in your mind, maybe it's meditating, but finding some space, maybe it's spending time with a girlfriend or your spouse or something, but finding that time to just be and relax and kind of clear your mind is really, really good physically and mentally. Calendar blocking, so kind of touch on this, but you know, plan that time to exercise or to eat your healthy meals and make it non-negotiable, but you have to plan it out when you're in your career and in a busy industry. Scheduling breaks throughout the day, so just to kind of recharge. So maybe it's scheduling a time to meditate, or I will get up if I'm working from home or the home office, I'll get up and move for a few minutes, and I'll dance or do something. I don't know, but I do dance, to be honest. So I will dance, but you got to do what you got to do, but it's good to just, you know, get that movement in. Start small. Don't try and do everything all at once. Don't say, oh, I'm going to work out 5 days a week starting tomorrow. If you can't commit to that, don't commit to it. Start with 1 day a week and then build from there. We want you to take your PTO and look for a company that encourages you to take your PTO. I know ours does, but that is built in there for a reason. And a great way to make sure you're healthy in your industry is to work in an industry that you love, and then it won't really feel as though you are going to work every day. And then these are just some must wins, and we'll send this presentation out. I want to save room for questions, but must wins for a healthy lifestyle business. These are things you can do no matter what. But the main things you can do is to always hydrate. I'm like, have my water here, but measure it out, hydrate. It's so important, but that keeps your metabolism going, keeps your energy levels up. It's just a very good thing you can do. Sleep is important. Plan in your sleep and make it also non-negotiable, but getting 7 to 8 hours, you're probably like, well, I can't do that. You can, just have to plan it in and make it a priority, and then be efficient with your time leading up to that. Measure your progress. So whether that's by how you feel and tracking how you feel, whatever way it is, to see maybe you couldn't run a mile, now you're able to run a little bit further, but just measuring your progress really proves to yourself and shows you, wow, look what I can do, and you'll keep wanting to accomplish things. Planning and preparing, building it in, super important. Setting a goal is always a big motivator. That was one thing that helped me when I started with Gallo. I was really struggling, and I joined a transformation competition just to really push me, and it works because it gave me that extra motivation. Then finding your why. Why is it important to you? I think for me, it's being able to show up as the best version of myself and in a positive way for my team and as a leader in my company. And I want to have the energy to be able to accomplish my role to the best of my abilities. And I'm not going to be at my best if I don't feel my best. So that's the big driver for me. And what health and wellness looks like at Gallo. So we do have a Vitality Health Incentive Program. And this is something that our company started to really encourage us to focus on our health. So look for companies that have these things. But with our Vitality Health Incentive Program, we get points for exercise, we even go in every year and get our blood work done. So if we have healthy blood pressure, cholesterol, all these kinds of things. Our company encourages working out at our corporate meetings and events. They always plan a group workout, and it's different. So that's a way that we really collaborate across all departments, as we all come together and do this big group workout before our meetings. We have our Women of Wine conference, and that's another way that women support other women, and we get together and work through some of the obstacles that we share as female leaders in our company. And our color kits, that was something that our company sponsored, where we could do some genetic testing to see what we're predisposed to as far as different illnesses. The corporate athlete program is a training program that our company offers. So these are just all different things that Gallo has out there because they want to prioritize our health. And then I think when it comes to the radical collaboration, I know that was part of some of the questions that they were going to ask us in the panel. So I didn't know, I want to make sure we have time to get to it, but is Rachel in here? I think Rachel was going to ask us the questions.
Hi, yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hi, Rachel. I can hear you. I just don't see your square, but I can hear you.
Hi, yes, I'm here. If anyone has questions that they want to post to the chat, feel free to post them and I'll ask. But I can start with a question for all the panelists. And thank you so much for being here today. So my question is, how do you identify burnout, and what are some strategies to combat burnout when you're experiencing it at the workplace?
Britton,
Who wants to start? Yeah.
Sure. So I am an extroverted introvert. I'm in sales, and so I love meeting people and dealing with people and doing that. But my energy tank starts to deplete if I don't have my introverted time. And so I identify burnout. I can identify it pretty easily after a couple of days. Last week I had I worked during the day, and then I had evening events. On Wednesday night, I had a wine dinner where it was like a 6-course dinner with about 35 people at a country club in Cary, where I was speaking about the wine between each course. and that went until 10 p.m. Then Thursday night, I had a big wine tasting with about 60 people at another country club in Raleigh that went till about 9 p.m. And by Friday morning, I was feeling burned out. And so I think when you start to feel yourself feeling resentful or bitter about your work or angry, you are probably burned out. And so I think some of the things that Kathleen touched on about when to say no are really important. And so I think that in this day and age, in a lot of different industries, and especially in our industry, we don't have 9-to-5 jobs. We're not expected to be in an office from 9 to 5. And our employer and our bosses trust us to get the job done whenever we're going to get the job done. And so if you're able to have a flexible schedule like we are, something that I utilize is if I know that I'm going to be working late into the evening, I give myself a couple hours in the morning to not be 100% working. I'm on call, I'm answering emails, I'm answering calls and texts if I need to be. But if I can't go work out in the evening, then I'm going to go to a workout class in the morning, and it might be at 10 o'clock in the morning, and that's okay. I think calendar blocking is really important. Like Kathleen said, you can schedule a workout or a walk or whatever. And if someone asks you to meet during that time, it's okay to say, can we meet at another time? I'm already booked during that time. So that's something I try to block out throughout the week when I know I'm going to be on the verge of burnout.
Love it. What other questions? Rachel, did you want to hear from everyone on the panel about burnout, or did you have other questions you wanted to move to? I just want to make sure we get to all of the questions that you all have for us.
Sure, I have some more questions we can move to. Another question is, how do you radically collaborate in your company to, inspire other people to have more work-life balance? Especially for me, I'll be finishing my MBA, I'll be a young person in the workplace. How do I inspire other people if I'm not, the manager right away?
Sure. Yeah, I think for me, I saw a really interesting thing happen. A lot of it is kind of leading by example, and then people do join in. I was doing some bodybuilding competitions about 2 years ago, so I was very, very strict with what I was eating and my exercise. And at first, some people would just like kind of not make fun of me, but be like, "Oh, what are you doing? Go have some wine, or do this." And I guess it was maybe they didn't realize I was serious about it. But when you show that you're serious about it, I was very committed to it. And whether we were at a regional meeting with all of our colleagues and friends that we hadn't seen in a while and surrounded by wine and alcohol, I was still committed to my goal. And I think a lot of times when you can lead by example, eventually people are going to join in with you. So now, if you fast forward to, a year after that time, now whenever we have a regional meeting or something where I'm with a group of colleagues, they're like, "Oh, well, what time are you working out in the morning?" I'm like, "Oh, I wasn't going to work out, but now I feel like I have to," because no, but they'll now they ask me, "Oh, well, when are you going to work out? Because I'll work out with you." Or and now it's people, we do talk about it a lot in our company. In our senior leadership team, we have a meeting. You go to the gym in the morning at 5, 6 a.m. Half of our company is there working out because it's just the culture in our company. And I think we do radically collaborate when we share a lot of what works best for us, because really the demands of our job are so unique with being constantly surrounded by alcohol that we cross all channels and, talk about what works well for each other. And also another thing with our Women of Wine conference, we talk specifically about as females in our industry, what are the challenges and how do we overcome them? And our company providing a conference like that where we can collaborate and I can talk with women who have been in the company much longer than me or worked in different parts of the company that I've never worked in, might have an idea that I haven't thought of or heard of. So, but I think the best way is really to lead by example and just stay true to commit to your goals, and you'll see that other people will join in, and it can really be you being the leader and creating that culture if it doesn't already exist.
And I just wanted to say one other thing. Kathleen touched on it. She said briefly at the very beginning when she started talking, leading by example. I can say that my manager in particular is really great about leading by example. I know that he's constantly asking, how much PTO do you have in your bank? He wants to know, he wants to make sure that our team, that we're taking care of ourselves and that we're taking our time off. He's also a big believer in a lunch break, because I know Britton said earlier that we all work nonstop, and there are many days where it's, oh my God, it's 3 o'clock and I haven't even stopped to eat yet. That we all get in those cycles, and he blocks off. He will not answer phone calls between 12 and 1 o'clock. That's his lunch hour. He will not, he doesn't expect us to answer phone calls during our lunch hour. He's a big believer in that. And if we do text him, he'll respond back, sorry, it's my lunch. Like he's a big believer in taking your personal time so that you don't burn out. And I really appreciate that. Like I've learned from that. And it's kind of encouraged me, even when I'm working from home, if I'm not hungry, I'll take, even if it's not an hour, if it's only 15 or 20, 30 minutes, I'll get up and maybe just walk the dog or do something to not just stare at my computer for 8 to 10 hours straight, you know?
I think another piece of the radical collaboration that I would love to add is we all have to collaborate, right? When you're working for a company, you're working on a team, you're going to have to work with other people. I think the difference between collaboration and radical collaboration is that radical collaboration is energizing, it's joyful, it's creative, it's sometimes going low so that you can serve and lead others from below. And I think it's putting the good of the team above the good of the individual. And people will see that, even if you're not the manager or the boss, if you're at an entry-level position, which we all started at within Gallo, we were sales reps. And so we were just on a team of other sales reps with a manager. There's ways that you can stand out as a leader, leading from within. And we now have platforms. I'm on a division within our company where we have people across the country. There's about 50 of us that do my job in all of the different states. And we have a Teams group chat where we share ideas of what we're doing in our markets for creative wine tastings or fun food and wine pairings or different things like that. And so no one is trying to hoard their success. We're all sharing our creative ideas so that we can implement them in our different markets and all be successful.
Thank you. We have about 2 minutes left before we move to our next session.
Awesome. Well, I know, Grace, you asked about the travel, healthy travel. I think with travel, it's planning ahead. I'll go to the store and make sure if I'm traveling by car, make sure my car is stocked up with water and healthy snacks. I pack a lot of things. If I'm traveling by plane, it's making sure I buy a lot of water whenever I land, wherever I'm going to be, and also just packing the healthy snacks, and then staying at hotels that have gyms. So you get to learn as you travel a lot, you'll get to know the ones that have them. So yeah, that's my quick healthy travel tips. And then I wanted to tell everybody.
I was gonna brag on Kathleen too. 2 things that she does when she travels is she calls the hotel ahead of time and asks for a refrigerator, a mini fridge to be in the room so that she can put food that she's prepared into the fridge. And she also walks when she's in airports constantly so that she's never just sitting.
I do walk a lot in the airport. So
yeah, if I'm in the same hotel for more than 1 or 2 nights, I'll go to Publix and buy things and put in the mini fridge so that I won't snack on unhealthy stuff. I'll have bananas or those little protein breakfast things to eat for,
Yeah, for sure. And we have, I know, Grace, you're probably going to tell everybody this, but we do have, I'm giving everybody, especially with the quarantine going on, everybody will get a link to a free 30-minute workout that you can do at home so that you can all stay active and get your strength training in while we're all staying at home a lot these days. So, but thank you all so much for having us. Any questions? I'll share the slide with all of our contact information. We'd love to hear from you. But if there's any other questions we can answer, just let us know. Feel free to reach out to us. But these are all of our email addresses. And then we have our 2 Instagram accounts. Southern State of Wine is for the state of North Carolina, and then Life at Gallo, you can see that's our kind of our Gallo careers page where you'll see a lot of different recruiting activities and just different areas in our company. But we thank you all so much for being here and for having us, and hope everybody has a great rest of the week. Stay safe and stay healthy. And any questions, we'd love to hear from you, get to know you. You want to hear more about Gallo, just reach out to us and we'd be happy to connect.
Thank you, Kathleen, Amanda, and Britton, so much. And I pasted the free workout from Kathleen in the chat box so you can easily access it there. We will stay in this room for the next segment of her